All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right, we are so happy to have a few of you here for our Forwardly Partner Certification Workshop. We very deeply appreciate you taking the time to learn more about our certification program. I'm Jane. I'm joined today by Erin Ma, our Customer Success Manager here at Forwardly. Many of you probably already know Erin as our Forwardly expert for demos, onboarding, and customer support. He works closely with our partners and businesses every day, and he knows Forwardly inside and out. Over the next while, we're going to walk through who Forwardly is built for, do a live demo, cover onboarding, payments, auto payments, pay by card, and how banking and business information works on the platform. We're also going to talk about why clients choose Forwardly and what it means to be a Forwardly certified partner. And we'll wrap up with plenty of time for questions. Please feel free to drop questions in the Q&A as we go. As we go through today's sessions, you're also going to see 4 live quiz questions pop up. Now, if you're not using the Teams app, if you're in browser, we're also going to copy and paste those questions into the chat, and you can just add a chat message with your response. These are part of the certification. To earn your Forwardly certified partner status, you'll need to answer at least 3 out of the 4 questions correctly. The questions are all based on what we learned today, so there's not going to be any trick questions. As long as you're paying attention, you will be in great shape. If you miss out on some of the questions, you can answer them later, or there's also the self-serve exam that you're very welcome to take as well. So with that context, let's start. So before we jump into a demo, I want to spend a minute on who Forwardly is and what it's built for, because that context really matters when you're recommending it to clients. Forwardly is a modern business payments and financial operations platform. We are designed to help high-growth businesses move money faster, simplify how they pay bills, and reduce the manual work around approvals and cash flow. We are focusing on taking the friction out of accounts payable and accounts receivable so that businesses can spend less time chasing payments and more time on actually running their business. Forwardly is built for fast-growing businesses that want more control and visibility over how money moves. It's a great fit for businesses who handle a high volume of bills, who have multiple approvers and are frustrated with checks or slow payments, or are outgrowing their manual processes. It's also built with accountants and finance teams in mind, so it fits cleanly into existing workflows instead of creating more work. Now, personally, I've been working with Forwardly for over 5 years, with over a decade of experience in marketing and operations with tech, manufacturing, and hospitality. I'm also a small business consultant, and I'm a member of the BC Tech CMO C Council. Erin, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. Hello, everybody. Like Jane, I've been with the company for about 3+ years and about 8+ years in sales and customer facing experience, and also have an undergraduate degree in accounting.
Yeah, and that's why you can answer all the questions, right, Erin?
I hope so.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's move into the live demo. Erin, can you go ahead and share your screen?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll take over screen share here.
Fantastic.
So let me know when you can see my screen, Jane. Just want to make sure.
It's sure visible.
Perfect. All right, so let's first talk about getting started. All right, so if you wanted to sign up on Forwardly, all you need to do is get onto app.forwardly.com and go through the sign up process. Now, during the sign up process, one of the main questions or common question is, does a business need an accounting system in order to use Forwardly? Well, the short answer is no. Connecting an accounting or ERP software is completely optional. It's only required when you want to sync payments, invoices, and bills automatically. However, if you do integrate with an accounting system such as a QuickBooks Online, what we do is we will perform what we call a 4-way sync, where any invoices and bills that's created on QBO will be pulled onto Forwardly. Anytime you create a bill or an invoice in Forwardly as well, we would push that into QBO. As well, your entire contact list, such as your vendors and customer lists, will be pulled from QBO onto Forwardly, so it saves you some of that manual work. And every time a payment is completed, we will also push that back into your accounting system to mark it as paid. All right. However, businesses can use Forwardly to send and receive payments without an accounting or ERP integration at all. So if a particular client isn't on a QBO or zero just quite yet, they can still get started right away. All right. Now, as for new user signups, what's required is that they'll need to verify both their email and phone number. So one important thing to notice is that Fortly does require a valid US non-void phone number in order for verification. As well, Fortly as a platform, as Jane mentioned earlier, is a business-to-business payments platform. So we are designed for payments between businesses or legal entities. So this means businesses to and from sole proprietors, 1099 contractors, LLCs, corporations, nonprofits, and other business entities are all supported. However, consumer to business or business to consumer payments or purely personal payments are outside the scope of the platform. All right. Now, once you do sign up for a Fortly account, you will get into the main page of our platform. And if you do sign up as an accountant or bookkeeper that manages multiple clients, we do have a centralized firm dashboard here where it allows you to add your clients easily, whether you can search them up to see if they're an existing Fortly client or create their business from scratch. And you'll have a neat little drop-down menu where you can toggle between businesses here. All right. So with that being said, I think this will be a nice time to throw in the first quiz question here.
All right, perfect. So you should see that popping up on your screen shortly. As well, we're also going to throw that into the chat so that you can answer there with your response in case you are not on the Teams app and thereby can't access the quiz function.
Awesome. So with that being said, we can jump into payments. All right, so on Fortly, you can send payments out to your vendors as well as receive payments from your clients. So let's talk about the payable side first. So in order to get into the payable side, what you would do is you would hover your mouse over the pay button here and go to bill payments. Now, how you can upload a bill or create a bill, there are several ways to do so. So option number one, if you have that accounting or ERP integration, you could create the bill in your accounting or ERP integration and it will be pulled onto Fortly. Option number two, we do have a dedicated payables inbox. So every time you do receive a bill, you can forward it directly to this inbox and it'll show up on this list. Or you can upload the PDF or JPEG directly on this list as well. Once it's on this list and you click on continue, we do have an AI bill capture system that will pre-fill the majority of these fields here. Then once you create the bill, it will show up on the bills list. All right, so all the bills you see here, we've either directly pulled from your accounting integration or you've created it on Fortly. All right, now in order to pay a particular bill, let's just say, for example, you wanted to pay Roberts and Associates here, you will just hover your mouse over that particular bill and click on view. From there, you can enter the email address of Roberts and Associates to make sure we're sending the payment to the correct email address, or you can search them up on our Fortly Business Network. If they're part of our Fortly Business Network, then their contact information will be automatically pre-filled. From there, you can choose which bank account you want the money to be withdrawn from, and you can add as many bank accounts for a particular business as you like. All right, and then you can also select different payment speeds. Now, when you first start out with a Fortly account, you might only see the standard payment being available, but once you build a banking history, then you will also see faster payment options becoming unlocked. Now, in terms of how much or the pricing structure of each payment here. Now, we do have a free trial. So when you sign up for a Fortly account, the first 30 days is free of bank payments, free for bank payments, pardon me, yes. Now, once that is over, then typically for standard payments, which takes 3 to 5 business days, the first 5 that you send out and the first 5 that you receive every single month is free. Thereafter, that is 50 cents per transaction. And for the faster payment methods, such as next day, same day, instant, we do charge a bit of a premium in that we do charge 1% per transaction, but it's capped at $10, $20, and $30 respectively. However, we do have a special deal right now where if you sign up over the next month, we will give a special pricing where for the faster payment options, it'll still be 1% per transaction, but it'll be capped at $3, $4, and $5 respectively instead. All right, so if you guys do have any questions about the pricing, please note it in the chat there, and we'd be more than happy to answer them in the Q&A session in just a little bit here. All right, but it's also important to note while we're on the topic of pricing, there are no monthly subscription fees and there are no sign-up fees on Forwardly. It's really purely a pay-as-you-go type of model here. Now, from there, once you have chosen the preferred speed, then you would choose the processing date, whether it's today or you can schedule a future date. And if you didn't want to pay them the entire amount, you can also pay them a partial amount. Now, depending whether you have an approval system in place, if you don't, then you can send your vendor a payment. When you click on send payment, what we will do is we will send your vendor an email that'll look a little bit like this. All right, I'll say that, hey, Jane and Aaron's looking to pay you X amount. On the email, there'll be a link for the vendor to accept the payment. Once they click on accept payment, then they'll go through and punch in a few basic details, connect their bank, punch in their business name, verify their mobile number, then the payment will be in progress. They will have the option to create a Forwardly account if they wanted to say track the payments, an example, but it's not mandatory. All right, so that's typically what it looks like on a regular payment experience. One thing of note here is that Forwardly does not support check payments. So if a client currently pays vendors by check, those payments will need to continue outside the platform. However, it is worth noting that you can also transition them to ACH payments, which are much more cost effective and much more time efficient as well. All right, so now for the payable side, as I mentioned, that we do have a pretty robust approval system that you can implement. So any client of yours that do support that do require, I should say, custom approval workflows. That is a big selling point for firms, for clients, especially with internal controls. You can set policies directly within Forwardly. Now, for any particular business, if you go under settings, you can add as many users as you want, and you can give them specific roles and permissions, and you can even create custom roles. All right, in that you can say that for any particular person, you can give them view or manage access in a plethora of different items. Now, once you have the different users and roles set in place, then you can create different approval policies and you can set as many policies as you like. But you can see that as an example for this particular demo company, they do have an approval policy where any bill between $100 and $700, Aiden will need to approve it before the payment could be sent. But you could add layers to this and say that, hey, first Aiden needs to approve it. Then anybody from the billing department needs to approve it before both Jane and Aaron needs to approve it before the payment could be sent out. And you can even add another layer to the approval policy and say that, hey, for this particular policy, I only want it to apply to these handful of vendors, right? So a lot of different things that you can play around with, all right? And when you do have an approval policy in place and a bill has been sent out, you can also track the activity log or the audit logs by going into bill payments and payments here. And when you click on any bill that's processing, you can view to see who has approved the payment, who still needs to approve it, and how to get that payment across the finish line there. All right. So as well on the payable side for qualified businesses, if you do have your clients or your vendors, pardon me, banking information available, you could have the ability or the option to add it on behalf of them. So on any vendor that you have either in your account integration that we've pulled onto Forwardly or that you've added directly on Forwardly here yourself, you can go into the vendor card, all right, and let's just say for here, and you can, this would be a bad example here. Let's just say for Diego's, you will have the opportunity to add in their banking details on behalf of them or request them to add the banking details beforehand. So once you send them the payment, they can be automatically deposited. All right, so that kind of wraps it up for the payable side. So I think this would be a good time to also throw in the next quiz question here.
Sounds great. While I get that going, we have had a couple of questions about the approvals process and payment costs in the chat. As I mentioned before, if there are any further questions you have on these items, just make sure to mention them and I'll either answer them in chat during the call or we can get to them at the end. And if there's anything that we go over that you want to see a little bit more of, we will also make sure to we'll also go ahead and go into more depth with that later at the end if you'd like. All right. So don't be afraid to speak up. All right. And the poll is live. So make sure to go and add in your answers.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Jane. All right. So with that being said, we can move forward to the receivable side. So in order to get to the receivable side, you would just hover your mouse over to get paid and go to the invoice payments tab. And very similarly, all the invoices that you see here, we have either pulled and fetched directly from your accounting or ERP integration, or you have created manually directly on Fortly here. Now, what I can do is I'll walk you through what it would look like for more of a one-time payment request, and then I can show you our feature that's tailored towards reoccurring payments or clients, right? So once you have created an invoice, let's just say you wanted to receive a payment from Gita here. What you would do is just hover over the invoice and click view. From there, very similar to paying a bill, you can edit the email in which you're sending the payment request to and from. All right, and also you can have the opportunity to search them up on the Fortly Business Network as well. Again, if they're part of our business network, then their contact information will be automatically pre-filled. From there, you can choose the payment speed. All right, again, the payment speeds for receiving a payment and the payment cost for receiving a payment is exactly the same as sending a payment. And also the special discounted offer is also available for both sides. All right. Now, on receiving a payment, you do have an option to either receive the payment as a bank transfer or as you can also have the option to activate credit card payments so that your clients can have the option to pay you by card. In order to do so, you just need to go to settings here, go to payment methods and go to accept card payments. And once your business is verified, you should be able to submit an application to our credit card processing partner in order to accept card payments. Once you've been approved, you will also have the option to pass on the credit card processing fee, which is 2.99% on our platform, back to your clients if you choose to do so. All right, so if we go back to that invoice payment, and once you click on send request, what we will do is we will send your client this time an email. I'll basically say that, hey, Aaron and Jane's looking for payment from you this time for X amount. On the email, there'll be a link for your customer to send you the payment. All right, as well, within the email, they can download this invoice. And if you wanted to customize this invoice a little bit here, you can also do so under settings. And if you go to preferences and invoice branding, you can actually upload your logo here as well. All right, so once they have reviewed everything and they're ready to send you the payment, they'll click on send payment now. Again, very similar workflow where they'll confirm a few basic details. They would connect their bank or punch in their card information if you have cards activated. If not, then they'll only see that bank connection option. Once they have confirmed the method of payment, they'll punch in their business name, verify the mobile number, then the payment will be in progress. Again, they'll have the option to create a Fortly account, but it's not mandatory. All right, so that's what it would look like for more of a one-time payment basis. However, if you do have a lot of recurring clients or subscription-based clients, obviously we don't want you to have to go in here and click on send request every single month and have your clients or customers do the same thing and send you a payment manually every single month. So that's why we do have a feature called auto payments. And what auto payments is, for its namesake, is that what you can onboard your clients as an auto pay client. Then once they're onboarded, then every time you create a new invoice, whether it's in your accounting system or integration or directly on Fortly here, on the due date of that invoice, we will automatically process that payment, right? Without you having to go in and click on send request and without your clients having to do anything. Now, in order to onboard your clients as an auto pay client, you would just go to hover your mouse over get paid here and go to customers. All right, and then from there, whichever customer you want to onboard as an auto pay client, let's just say it's Amy here, you would just click on the contact card and click on request authorization. From there, we will send Amy an email basically saying that, hey, J&R is looking to automatically collect payments from you. Do you give them consent? If they say yes, authorize auto payment. They'll go through a very similar workflow. All right, but with the exception, the very last step, they will be required to digitally sign this pre-authorized debit form. Then once they click on authorize, then they're officially onboarded as an autopay client. The entire process shouldn't take more than a minute. All right, so now that Amy is onboarded as an autopay client, then every time when you create a new invoice for Amy from here on out, on the due date of that invoice, we will automatically collect the payment. And also on this page, once they're onboarded as an autopay client, you'll be able to select the payment speed in which you want the bank payment to process. If they connect the card instead, it will take about 1 to 2 business days to process. Right. And then on this page as well, if you needed to pause auto payments for any reason, maybe you did some end of the year work for them and you needed to send them a one-time invoice in which they need to send manually, you can also pause auto payments on this page. And at any time, if the client, for example, is no longer a client, you can also cancel the auto payment authorization on this page as well. All right, so with that being said, I think this will be a good time to also throw in the next quiz question. Oh, actually, one thing that I should mention. All right, so one thing that a lot of clients do kind of have a hiccup on is during once they have onboarded their clients as an autopay client and during the invoice creation process, the best practice is to set the invoice date a few days before the due date. So for example, if you wanted to receive the payment on the first of every month, then you would want the invoice date to be a few days before the first, right? So let's just say the 30th, so that our team has the opportunity to send your client a reminder that, hey, as a reminder, on the first, we will be automatically processing this payment on Jane and Aaron's behalf. And on the first, we will automatically process it. If the invoice date and due date falls on the same day, then by default, we will need to process it the next business day, right? So if the next business day falls on a Monday, then you would need to process it not over the weekend, but on that Monday, right? So that's one important thing to note there. All right, so now with that being said, let's go on to the next quiz question.
All right, I have launched the poll and just make sure to share your responses.
So as well, unfortunately, we do have an AI agent as well that will monitor any type of discrepancies or abnormal behavior. So especially when you do have that accounting integration, if there are any duplicate bills or invoices that's created, our agent will actually pick that up for you and to let you know beforehand as well. So that's one of the neat things that unfortunately we can do. As well, as I mentioned before, unfortunately, you can add as many banks as you want or payment methods. So if you go to payment methods and bank accounts, you can add as many bank accounts as you want, and you can either add them with Plaid or add them manually. So when a client connects to bank manually, then they would actually need to enter the routing account numbers manually as well. And we would need to manually verify that bank account. So with a Plaid connection, what the benefit is that we can verify that bank account within seconds. With the manual bank account, it does take an additional 1 to 2 business days, as we do use micro deposits to verify that account. It is a natural requirement for small test deposits to be sent and for us to confirm the amounts as well. So that's what we do always recommend the Plaid connection, because number one, it takes way quicker to verify it, and number two, it also unlocks faster payment methods as well. All right. Now this might be a good time to offer up the next quiz question as well.
Sounds good. Just launching that now.
All right. Now, the verification process. So when you do sign up for the account, for any business, whether it's your own or your clients that you add onto Forwardly, it does need to be verified in order for you to initiate payments. All right. So The verification process is very simple though. So any business that you onboard, if you go to business profile, there'll be a button for you to start the business verification process. And typically for a typical LLC, we would just require articles of incorporation, their EIN verification letter, and a proof of business address. So this could be something as simple as a bank statement or utility bill with the business name and business address on it. We would also need the beneficial owner or owners of the company to also verify their identity. But once that is completed, then your business will be verified and you'll gain access to all four of these features. Now, if there was a wrong input during the verification process, so for example, as an LLC, if you input a partnership, an example, instead, you would need to contact us in order for our team to reset the verification for you. Right? And at any time, if you do need support, you can submit a ticket by hovering over the support button and clicking on support portal, or directly going to support.forlead.com and submitting a ticket with the email address associated with your account, and our team members will be able to help you out as well. All right. Now, a business may also, once you have submitted everything, I should say, a business may also be shown as under review for a few reasons. If there is a missing document, then our compliance team will reach out to you for that missing document. As well, it does take a few business days for our compliance team to review everything as well. All right. Now, I think this will be a good time to throw in the next.
Nope, there are no more.
Oh, okay, awesome. We're done.
Or
Yes.
no more quizzes. That's
Gotcha.
it.
Yeah, so last couple of things to touch base on. So we for any business that you onboard, any account that you onboard, there is a referral page where you can click into refer and earn, and you do have a unique referral link that you can send out to clients for them to sign up on. And if you didn't get certified today, you can always click on get certified and take the quiz to get certified as well. All right. So with that being said, I think that's about it on my end, and I'm going to throw it back to Jane to wrap things up.
All right, sure thing. I'm just putting the PowerPoint back to where it was. All right. Thank you so much for that today, Erin. All right, let's go over this. So as Erin mentioned, once you get forwardly certified, you will get the badge, you will get a certificate for sharing, including on LinkedIn, and you get the rights to call yourself a forwardly certified partner. As well, you can earn extra rewards up to $115 each per verified business referred. If you have any questions about that fee structure, just feel free to reach out to us at help@forwardly.com and specify that you're asking a question about partnership rewards. What you need to know in general is how to identify clients who will benefit from simpler, faster payments. Remember to refer clients to Forwardly using your unique link, and then within 30 days, you will earn rewards once they become active. So pretty simple all around. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. So I know we did have some questions that came in when you registered. People asked questions. So let's go through some of those now. Erin, we had, I'd like to understand the integration with QBO and compare AP processing programs for client referrals. So in terms of the integration with QBO, I think, Erin, you covered that for the most part. Just as a quick overview, we do have real-time sync with QBO. So once you sync your business, it's pretty much instant sync right over back and forth. We pull and push data, so we're going to pull all your invoices and bills that are due or have a due date set to, today or beyond. And yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Once you pay a bill or get paid with an invoice payment on Forwardly, we will push that data back to QBO as well. So everything will be automatically reconciled and remove manual data entry. So in terms of AP processing, I think Erin covered a lot of those questions today. Erin, is there anything else you wanted to expand on for that?
Yeah, so basically for the approval processes, there are many options that you can play around with. And as I showed before, there is a pretty extensive audit log as well that you can keep track of kind of where that payment is at or potentially stuck on.
Varies for sure. And if there's ever anything that you feel like is missing, make sure to reach out. Reach out to help@forwardly.com. Send in your feature request. I promise we log all of them, and we personally go over that list pretty regularly with our development team to make sure that the features that our clients need are getting pushed and worked on. So it's definitely something we think about all the time. So make sure to write in with your requests when you have them. We did also have a question in the chat about user fees. While I did answer that, I just want to clarify, we don't have any monthly or seat fees. We only charge per transaction. As a quick reminder, our charges per transaction are 50 cents for standard ACH. And if you sign up before the end of May, we also have special introductory pricing for instant same day and next day ACH. So instead of our usual higher monthly cap or higher caps on those payments, we charge 1% capped at $3 for next day ACH, $4 for same day ACH, and $5 for instant payments. So pretty good deal there if you get signed up before May. And otherwise, yeah, there's no monthly subscription fee. You also get 10 free standard ACH per month for your business. So that's 5 sent and 5 received. So if you have any questions about fees, please make sure to add them in the chat. Otherwise, we did get a question as well about how does Forwardly handle multi-currency or international payments. Aaron, did you want to take that one?
Yeah, so unfortunately, at the present moment, we only can have the scope of handling US to US business in US currency. So unfortunately, we can't handle international payments at the present moment.
Yeah. That is unfortunate. You know, we are only U.S. domestic payments. If you do require international payments, reach out to our team. Again, email help@forwardly.com. Let us know that international payments are a barrier for you in adoption, or you know you'd love to run international payments, because that's gonna add that push on our end to make that change. You know, we just need the clients to request it before we work on things. So make sure to send that in. Otherwise, one of the other questions that we had, where was it? I just had it open. Oh no. Oh, what are the most common reasons clients adopt Forwardly? So, you know, variety of reasons. In general, I think what we often see, and what I know I just spoke about with one of our Forwardly certified partners just a couple of days ago, was she said that clients adopt Forwardly because they're sick of the high processing fees from other platforms. You know, Forwardly is very economically, you know, viable. We don't charge exorbitant fees. We don't have a monthly subscription. So when it comes to bringing your clients over, it's very easy for you to say, hey, you know, let's try out the software for a couple of months and see how it goes. And, you know, if you don't like it, there's no huge barrier to entry. There's no big open standing cost. You don't have to even enter a credit card if you don't want to, right? So that's definitely one reason why clients really like adopting Forwardly, because it is low barrier to entry. Otherwise, reasons why clients like Forwardly is because, you know, they can automate their payments, whether they're doing AP or AR, they can automate those payments and just take away a lot of their day-to-day finance work. So, which is pretty useful. And, you know, a lot of the features that we have, like the approvals, like our AI bill inbox, in order to get those with other payment platforms, that would be gated. You would be having to pay anywhere from $15 to like $100 a month just to be able to access similar features on another platform. So again, just a lower barrier to entry than a lot of the other business payment solutions out there. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any that have come in. So I think with that, we'll call it for today. We're just at the 35-minute mark, which is perfect for us. We like to get these done nice and quick when we can. So I'll be sending out these certification certificates in the next hour, and congratulations to all of our partners who attended today and got certified. Congratulations. We're so happy to have you. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, everybody. Have a lovely, lovely rest of your day.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.